Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dale Danker, President of TWU Local 514 here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's been a while since I've made a video. First thing get out of the way is please subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell. That'll give you a notification when a new video posts. So why haven't I made a video in a couple of months? I thought it was a little bit, to me, felt like it would be a little bit disrespectful to those of our fellow brothers and sisters who were getting furloughed to the street to be making a video trying to talk about overtime or crew chief ratios or holidays or vacation pics. But I have a lot of things here I want to discuss, and I'll do it in a pretty quick manner. I'll touch on the highlights, and if you have questions about that, obviously you can always call me, Dale Danker, 918-636-6089. I'll try to get back with you, as either answer the phone or text me, but please try not to leave a voicemail, as that's something I really don't have a line of sight to on my phone as good as a missed call or a text message. If you need me or you need rep and you can't find a shop steward, you can go to the union board. There's phone numbers posted. There's an officer assigned to each building and each area on the base and at the off-site. So there is someone who's got a responsibility to represent you where you work at. I hear lots of silly conversation that I may not be down here at the hall 8 hours a day. Well, you're damn right, I'm not sitting down here in this hall 8 hours a day. My job, I believe, is 365 days a year, be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I try to do that. I appreciate a lot of you. I don't get a phone call a lot of times after 11, and they start back up again somewhere around 6 o'clock. So if you call me in the middle of the night and I don't wake up, and I'll try to call you back when I do wake up. All right, enough about that. So what am I going to cover? COVID. We still have, I'm told Oklahoma, the Tulsa area, and I'm told at the base is seeing an increase in positive COVID cases. I just continue to stress, be respectful of everybody's space. They're going to require that you wear a mask. They're going to still require that you take your temperature when you come through the gate. Let's just continue to try to do our best to try to respect people's wishes as how they think this COVID is. Some folks don't want to wear a mask. Some folks don't want to social distance, but the person you're around might feel opposite of how you feel about COVID. So just if you're respectful of each other, then that shouldn't be a problem. So layoffs and reductions. So we're going through round 4, and I don't know if there's going to be a round 5. I'm told that there might be a few, depending on what the round 4 people pick, what their options might be. And then we have folks that reduce from like an AMT down to an OSM. Some folks did not have the seniority hold that, so they either went out to a line station where they could hold their seniority, or they might have bumped to a cleaner here in Tulsa. There's some pay rate issues going on with some of the moves, and there's pay rate issues going on with some guys taking higher capacity positions. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. So I think the dust is starting to settle on some of the furloughs and the reductions, and I do still believe that there's people that still need to be moved to where they're going. But it's getting close to the end. Then we can start talking about continuing to work, come to work, be efficient, do the job that you know how to do, and hope that the COVID issue becomes less and less of an impact on the airline industry, and these folks can get back to the job that they hoped that they was hired to do and have a long career. The company, through the bankruptcy proceedings up in New York, are trying to change the retiree medical plans for our pre-2012 retirees. So that's something where if you have a family member that retired, they're getting information in the mail from American Airlines that their retiree medical plan will be called the same thing. It may be called the same thing, but the benefits are drastically different. They won't be able to keep the doctor. They won't be able to go to their same hospital. A lot of stuff has changed, and we're going to fight that legally. So I'm told our international is going to take that up with their legal team, but I've talked to Jim Frazier here in town, and his firm is ready to represent our retired 514 members that have that medical plan and are being told that it's changing. So if you have a family member that's retired, you might go, hey, have you got anything in the mail that you see a change is coming? So I don't know that we can get something together before the company actually changes it, but we are currently assessing our position and getting ready to legally fight that. The benefits, the last day to select your benefits is today, November the 6th. A special group of people have been up in the grievance office working with the members on that. I'll talk about that here in a minute, but you've had an opportunity to continue to stay grandfathered in your union benefit plan offered short-term, and now we have long-term back. Our international, TW International ATD airline division position was, they felt like they were the caretakers of that, and they were no longer going to be the caretaker of that. So they let us take a vote, if you can let local autonomy take a vote, I don't know. But what happened was they were going to move us into a plan that was somehow tied in with the EIM. So you've got this information in the mail, and it was some information that could be handed out. But the long and the short of it, these plans that they were going to offer to us were going to cost, some of them were close to 3 times the amount what we were currently paying, and they were going to offer less than 50% of the benefit that we had under our old plan, which was almost 3 times cheaper. I like to give a metaphor. That's almost like saying, yeah, let me raise my hand to pay $3 times more for a gallon of gas, and yeah, let me drive the vehicle that gets half the gas mileage as the one I was just driving. You wouldn't do that, and you wouldn't buy their crappy insurance. And so Terry Buck was the point man for us and some of the other locals. We got together, we went back, we made sure that we did have local autonomy to do this, and yes, we did. We went back to union benefit planners, and we were able to restore the short-term and long-term that you're used to seeing be available to you over the past year. So thank you for Terry Buck for multiple conference calls and with other locals to get that accomplished. That was huge for our benefit. Thank you, Mr. Buck. Grievance Article 33, no matter what book your classification resides in, MLS, Fleet, M&R, MTS, Maintenance Training Specialist, Maintenance Control Technicians, Article 33 is grievance, and it was turned on November 1st. So now the main difference I want everybody to understand is that if you feel like you're out there on the floor, you're working, maybe you got bypassed for overtime, maybe it's some other reason why you should have got, there's a pay issue that you were bypassed, or maybe you've done something and there was supposed to be an increased pay for this job that you did, then they didn't give you that pay. Rather than go write a grievance and turn it in, go to get a shop steward, go to get a union rep or an officer assigned to your building, and then go have a verbal step with your immediate supervisor. And I'm told by Mr. Olin that your immediate supervisor will have the authority to pay those types of grievances or would-be grievances, that he can agree in that verbal step that you were bypassed or that you didn't receive the pay you should have for the job that you were performing, and they would have the authority on the floor level to remedy that situation and make it not become a grievance. That's at the verbal step. If at the verbal step you get denied by supervision, then we have a few days to turn it right back around and turn it into a grievance. Kendall's working with the shop stewards to make sure that everybody is rowing in the same direction, so to speak, on how we're going to handle grievances. So that's taking place. I know that there's a bid coming up in January, and there's still a lot of issues. I feel like most of those come out of a couple of areas, 5 and 6, and 1, 2, and 3. And so just each and every one of you that work in an area that you feel like there's still an issue with, hey, you bid a job, you're on a crew, that crew is assigned to work in an area, but yet there's something funny going on every day where they take people, move them off of this crew, and switch that group of people with that crew, and somebody on that crew comes to this crew because they're more talented to work on that work. Those are all contractual violations, in my opinion. You bid an area, you're in a bid area, you bid a location underneath the crew chief, up to 16 people. If it's 1, 2, 3, it's got to be at 4 before they have to have a crew chief. Less than that, supervisor assigns them the work, not some other crew chief and nobody tells about it. But the main issue is they're still bouncing people around. Now they can move you if they're, say, I'm a crew chief and I raise my hand and say, hey, I'm behind, can one of you crew chiefs give me a couple extra head count? Well, the supervisor comes and says, Danker, are you behind? I say, yeah, yes. And the supervisor says, hey, one of you crew chiefs is gonna have to give Danker a couple of head count because they're behind because they found more corrosion. They're behind because they had to pull that engine premature. Whatever the reason is, I'm behind, my crew needs help. But they are not to say, hey Danker, Bill's gone, he called in sick today, and he's just got 5 guys, so can you give them the job assignment? They're gonna stay working on the same stuff. No, that's not how it works. There's lots of scenarios of how it doesn't work. And I hate it, but it's probably gonna take a year or better to get where there's no issues with crew chiefs and their crew and getting them moved around. So we'll continue to work, but I need everybody to be vigilant. I walk the floor and somebody tells me nightmare stories, or they call me and they tell me nightmare stories about how the company is yanking the crews around and moving people off this crew onto that crew, putting people back down here. Nobody's violating the 16-to-1 ratio, so, but they can't just move people around because they think this guy has experience and that guy doesn't, and they chose a different crew chief, but every day we're gonna move them. That's all wrong, and I need to know about that through your shopster, through the verbal, and then to a grievance, and we'll continue to work on that stuff. Vacation bidding. Vacation bidding is coming up. It's gonna look different. You're gonna bid, you're gonna compete against your co-workers with their seniority on the shift that you're on. So the shifts are outlined in the premiums that's provided for the shift. If you look in the book under pay, compensation, it'll talk about what shift you're on for day shift, what shift you get paid a premium on for second shift, and then third shift. Those are the 3 shifts that will be recognized for vacation bidding. And when you bid vacation, if you're the senior person on your shift, whether that be first, second, or third shift, they will come to you if you didn't put any DAT days in and you got 6 weeks allotted to you because of your accrual, then you'll sit down and you'll pick where you want your 6 weeks to be. The guy on second shift, he may only have 15 years. The highest guy on day shift may have 40 years. Well, when you look at the bids, there's going to be July 4th. Day shift will get so many off on July 4th. Second shift will get so many off on July 4th. Third shift will get so many off on the 4th. And so people's going to MF me for vacation bidding and say it's bull crap and it's BS and this and that, and I hate the way they're doing it. Look, the goal was, when I brought shift swap here, everybody wanted 28-day rotation back. Oh, let's just go back to where we swap every month. Let's go back to where it's potluck, Bill. I couldn't get that accomplished in negotiations. So when I brought shift swap back through Mr. Seymour saying, hey, Tulsa needs some relief. And I got shift swap brought to Tulsa. Had people that would come down to the union meetings every month and beat me up that they hate shift swaps. I hate it. You shouldn't have brought it back without a vote. You were wrong for bringing shift swap to Tulsa. I haven't yet had an opportunity to work swaps. When I get fired out of this position, I will be trying to see how swaps are, but I can only take the majority of the people's word for it, and it seems to be working pretty good for a lot of people. So how does that conversation tie into vacation? When vacation was happening, I wanted people to be able to have relief. We had people out here stuck on undesirable shifts that, with swaps, they can get some quality time with their family, but in this vacation process, if they gotta be stuck on second shift or third shift, an undesirable shift, at least they have a shot at some quality holiday time with their family. So those that want to be upset about vacation, this is how it's gonna be going forward. Be upset at me if you need to be, but I thought with swaps and with vacation bidding by the shifts, that would provide everybody some level of relief away from work. Veterans Day is coming up November 11th, so I don't have a hat on, but my hat's off to the veterans and the commitments and the time it being in the military takes away from your family, or your inability to see your family on special days and special occurrences. I'm finding that out. My daughter joined the Navy back in July, and I haven't seen her since then, and I'm hopeful I get to see her soon. But I'm learning as a dad what that's like, not to be able to see your kid because they made a commitment to go serve their country. So I'm gaining a new level of respect for people that can call themselves military veterans. So thank you for your service. We're going to honor that day by taking it off. November 11th, we get Veterans Day off. If you want to comp the day in lieu of getting paid, you put that in your comp bank, and down at base shutdown, which is what it says right here, this will be the last year that base shutdown runs like it was in our old contract. We have some new language going forward, and I'll continue as long as I'm in this job to press Olin or whoever's in his position to take as much of a challenge as they can to let as many people off that want off in this holiday time as possible. So this year you're still going to be able to take it from the 24th all the way up through the 1st, because January 1st is a holiday. So you won't have to pick January 1st, December 25th. What you'll do on those 2 days is you'll either choose to comp them or get paid on those days. From the 24th and the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30, and 31, you'll have to select how you want those days to be pay coded. And you'll do that by going on staff admin and making that known to the company. So we're going to shut down on Vet Day, other than those in facilities that are required to be here to run the base. Hats off to those folks as well. And those in stores that also have to be here to keep parts moving, because as you all know, they don't shut airplanes down on the holidays. So we got to have parts at airports, and MLS and stores folks, they have to be here to work to keep that supply chain going. There may be some other hot areas where they ask people to volunteer to work, and I'm told where those areas are at, they'll have those conversations with those crews and give them that option. And I thought that was going to be it, kind of long, but then I thought of one other issue that's burning a hole in my brain, and that's this seniority appeals, the protest, the last appeals window they opened up. We had 2 guys on my rep committee, TW guys, that volunteered to be the chair and the co-chair of the seniority protest for the TW side. They raised their hand and said, sure, we'll serve the membership in that capacity. So here in 514, we reached out to everybody, said, if you think you've been wrong, fill out this appeal, give us the fact sheets, the information, we'll package it up. I signed off on it. I sent it down to Mr. Raleigh Reeves, who was the chair of that committee, and they packaged things up and looked at them and did what they were instructed to do by the association reps. And they understood by the direction they were given that stuff would be sent forward to someone to look at those appeals and render a decision. As to this date, there has been no written response to all the members that filled out and timely submitted their appeals. There's been 0 response. There's been arguments about who is supposed to respond, And yesterday I learned that our chair and co-chair of that was given some different direction other than they were given originally. And so what I want to say is, I don't know how many appeals were submitted, but just for the sake of argument, if 1,000 appeals were submitted for review, 0 was how many was awarded. 0. 0. That's hard to believe, because I know here in Tulsa, I know one gentleman that's a tech crew chief. His appeal is good. He should be on the Javits list as a tech crew chief. I also know that there's some problems on the IM side, that they would have had people that should have been, in my opinion, by the stories I've heard, they should have been awarded an adjustment to their seniority. And so when you submit a large number and you have 0, that tells me, that's my belief, there never was going to be any appeals accepted. They were just going to try to make you feel good by letting you appeal it. I don't know how good you feel when you send in a large number of appeals and find out that 0 was agreed to. So on this video, I'm saying to the membership of 514 that my position is going to be that the whole dang thing needs looked at again. It all needs reviewed again. Because if Mr. Reeves now is being told that he would have had the authority to change that, or somehow give an award and make the recommendation that, hey, it should be changed and it get changed, I don't believe any of that was done. I mean, no fault of our chair and our co-chair. They did what they were asked to do initially, and now we're being told something different. And if you was in the grievance office yesterday doing your benefits, you may have heard me not very happy on a phone call. I wasn't displeased with the people on the call. I was displeased at the information I found out that our chair and co-chair are now being told something different from either our international officers or our association group, that they're given different direction than they were given initially. But the bottom line is, people put in appeals to their seniority order. They've been given no response. We've got people laid off of this social security number shuffle. People that were hired in 2016 were hired under the old TWU rules. The IM was hired under the IM rules. And then when we ratified the agreement, they went back and they shuffled everybody. I don't know who in the hell think that was fair, but I personally don't think it was fair. At data ratification, if the rule was we're going to organize them by lowest social, last 4 will be the highest seniority tiebreaker on that day, fine. But to go back in time 2, 3, 4 years and reorganize everybody, whoo! I don't want to be named in that lawsuit, but so we're fighting this issue right here. YouTube doesn't want me to use cuss words, so I'm not going to. But this is an aggravation, big time. Pay rate issues. Over here, if you were furloughed or reduced, or due to the surplus and need situation and the vacancies from the early out, it created multiple situations to where your pay rate changed. Some went up, some went down. If you was an AMT and you went to OSM or to a cleaner, you don't go from step 1 to step 1 of the new classification, step 1 of the cleaner or the OSM or the cleaner. You take your pay, you don't go down in pay, you go to the pay rate that's closest to yours, and if there's not one that's exactly the same, you rise to the next one. So the AMTs that went to cleaner, that fell through the first step of cleaner, I'm told that those folks that went to crew chief and went to inspector, like I said, there's a multiple, it's a multi-fingered issue that has to do with pay rate issues. Please go to JetNet, check your pay rate, see if it's been fixed, keep an eye on it, and then go back and do the math of where you were harmed financially, and make sure that the company is going to give you that reimbursement check that they owe you for that difference. And if that doesn't happen within the next 1 to 2 pay periods, then get with your shop steward, go to your union board, call me 918-636-6089 and let me know, because yesterday I was told in the meeting with the company, they found out where the issue was on all pay rate issues and it's resolved. Last but not least, I want to say a special thank you to a group of people. Terry Buck, Marta Johnson, Scott Chisholm, Tracy Harden, Deanne Johnson, Linda Deal, and Gene Chapin, not really visiting with the members but doing legwork. Those officers, they were elected to do a job, and they raised their hand to say, hey, we'll go help with the people signing up for benefits. But they get here, some of them get here pretty early in the morning, and some try to flow in a few hours later, but they're all making a commitment to stay a lot more than 8 hours a day the last couple of weeks to get through this membership sign up for benefits, along with the confusion of the short-term, long-term changes. And then here in red, it's Dale Cotton and Sean Allen. I think Sean's executive steward, I know Dale is. These gentlemen always go above and beyond and help whenever and wherever they're needed. Both of those gentlemen were up there the day that I was up there. It was pretty hectic, and I had people signing up on a login sheet, and they were helping them one after another, and it was busy. So if you see any of this group out here, I'm not supposed to be shaking hands, I guess, but these folks, they'd go above and beyond to try to make themselves available to help people that needed questions answered or needed signing on to get the benefits. So thank you folks for that. Now, I don't know if that video is 20 minutes or 35 minutes, but subscribe, hit the bell. I'll try to start making some more of these videos. Like I said, I just didn't want to be, felt a little bit disrespectful to make videos talking about overtime issues with folks hitting the street. And I did not want to make a furlough video and try to explain the furlough, because it was the company that was furloughing people. I didn't want to muddy up the water with information and have a union member make a decision all affecting his life based off of what he thought he heard me say on a video, that if he guesses wrong because of something I would have said, we can't go back and help them with the company. If they make decisions based off of the information they gathered from the company and it's wrong, then we can go back and fight and say, hey, you guys told him wrong, he made a decision based on your answer. So for those reasons, I didn't make videos talking about furloughs and layoffs and reductions. So everybody have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.